In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful. In these Quranic stories, I would like to talk about the story of the Prophet Solomon's ant. It is one of the interesting stories in the Holy Quran that the Holy Prophet Solomon took a lesson from an ant. What was the story? There is a chapter in the Holy Quran by the name of the ant, and in the verse 18 of this chapter, the story starts. Once upon a time, the Holy Prophet Solomon, with his big army from the humans, from the genies, and the birds, they were working, they were walking and going in a very, very glory way, and they were on their way when they get close to the area that was in the Holy Quran's word called Wadi al-Namla, the area that the ants were living, or as we have in the scientific term, Formicarb, the place that the large number of the ants were living. One of the ants told the other, go to your Formicarbs because the army of the Prophet Solomon is getting close to us, and maybe they will they would kill all of you. So as we know, Allah had given the power and many miracles to the Prophet Solomon, and he could understand the language of the animals and insects and other creatures. So the Prophet Solomon, when he heard what one of the ants said to other ants, so he laughed and he said to the ant, why you said so to other ants? The answer of that ant is very interesting. He said to the Prophet Solomon, when those ants are looking at your army with a large number of the people, genies, birds, maybe they will be amused and they will be somehow shocked by those beauty of this world, and they forget that maybe they would be killed. And that is why I said to them, please leave the place as fast as possible, because there is the possibility that the army of the Prophet Solomon to kill you. The story is talking about that somehow we are really attracted by the attraction of this materialistic world, and we forget about what dangers, what problems, we will be faced by just paying attention to the worldly matters. And that was a very interesting story that even an ant wanted to teach the Prophet Solomon. So, as we mentioned, the ants left that area and went into the places, as we said, in the Formicarms, to be protected of the big army of the Prophet Solomon. So let's continue the story after having a short break. As we said, the Prophet Solomon talked to the ant that why you said to the ants to go to their for the carbs to be safe from me. While the Prophet Solomon wanted the ant to come to him while the Prophet Solomon was on his throne, suspended in the air by the support of the wind, because Allah had given the power to the Prophet Solomon to control, having control over the wind. It is a very interesting discussion between the ant and the Prophet Solomon. He said to him that the Prophet Solomon said to the ant, am I oppressive to the people and the animals and the birds and insects? The ant said, no, you are not oppressive. But I want to say to you something. Do you know that Allah has given the power to you so that you can have control over the wind? So it has an interesting meaning. It means that, all the power that Allah has given you is just by wind, and it can go and it can be disappear and finish very fast because it has been based on the wind. And that is why I wanted to talk to you that you should be careful that all this power and what we have in this world, if it is based on the wind, it can go like the wind very fast. So that was a very wise message that the Prophet Solomon really gave to the ant gave to the Prophet Solomon. There is another story in the Holy Quran. It is not in the Holy Quran, but it is in the stories of the prophets that an ant was carrying a seed of wheat and took this seed of wheat to a sea or a river. And the Prophet Solomon saw the ant that was carrying this small seed of the wheat. And then a frog came close to the ant, and the frog opened its mouth, and the ant came inside the mouth of the frog. Then the frog go to the water, go to the river, and then the frog came to a worm, and when the frog opened the mouth, the ant came out of the mouth of the frog and gave that a small seed of wheat to the small worm as its food. So when the ant came back and was out of the river, the Prophet Solomon asked him, what did you do? Why did you go to the mouth of the frog? And the ant explained the story, as I mentioned to the Prophet Solomon, that I came into the mouth of the frog having a small seed of wheat, and when I went into the water, I gave this small seed of wheat to the worm as its food. And then I came back. It means that how Allah has created this great world, and what great and exact calculation exists in this world that we cannot understand. And even a small ant took the lesson, taught the great prophet of God, Prophet Solomon, that how Allah Almighty is thinking about all the creatures, And that is why we shouldn't be hopeless of the God's grace and Allah all the time thinking about us and thinking, and He is so merciful to us. Allah Almighty is the one who is thinking about a worm under the water by an ant sending him through a frog a small seed of the wheat as its food. Okay, that was the story of the Prophet Solomon and the ant. Thank you very much.